How's it going, everyone? Data here, and it's time for the 2025 Four Nations Face-Off simulation on NHL 25. With the tournament having started yesterday at time of upload, I apologize for being late, but I wanted to wait as long as possible to get this simulation done so that the rosters would reflect any personnel changes. Of course, the most recent EA roster is dated to February 4th, which makes perfect sense when the tournament starts on the 12th, and the game doesn't let you make any roster changes to the Four Nations teams, which is even better in my favorite game, Gatekeeper 25. But I digress, and we'll do our best to have the roster reflect the real-world teams as well as possible. Now, if you don't know much about this tournament and its format, allow me to read from NHL.com, which says the 2025 Four Nations Face-Off will be held from February 12th to 20th in Montreal and Boston, with teams of NHL players from Finland, Sweden, Canada, and the United States competing in a round-robin tournament. Each team will consist of 13 forwards, 7 defensemen, and 3 goalies, and this will be the first best-on-best tournament since the World Cup of Hockey back in 2016. Now, for the format itself, all games in the Four Nations Face-Off will be played in accordance with NHL rules. Each team will play 3 tournament games, so 1 game against each country, so Canada versus US versus Sweden versus Finland. Each country plays each other once, in a traditional round-robin format under the following point system. 3 points for a win in regulation, 2 points for a win in overtime or shootout, 1 point for a loss in overtime or shootout, and 0 points for a loss in regulation time. The 2 teams with the best tournament record at the end of each team playing each other once will then advance to a 1-game final. So according to the schedule here, as you can see, yesterday's game, it was a crazy thriller. Canada beats Sweden in overtime 4-3, but still US versus Finland. Then a couple of the biggest ones you would think on Saturday, Finland versus Sweden and US versus Canada. Then we go from Montreal to Boston for the last couple of games before the final on the 20th, which will have the 2 top teams of the 4 according to that point system I just said. So in NHL 25, we have the Four Nations Face-Off mode, which is awesome, but sadly the teams are not editable, so you can't make any changes, like for example, Drew Doughty being in for Team Canada and Petrangelo being out. So we'll do what we can to the best of our ability. According to player overalls on NHL 25, as of the most recent EA roster update on February the 4th, the USA would be the highest rated team at 99 overall, Sweden second at 97, Canada third at 96, and Finland at the bottom at 92. So we'll take user control of all 4 teams into this tournament right here. Just a couple of small things I'm going to change in the settings. We're going to be doing simulation. It's a very short tournament as well, but I do want to turn injuries off, as of course injuries will happen, as we saw yesterday already, Shea Theodore getting injured. Injuries will happen, but just for the sake of the simulation, let's assume that everyone's going to be healthy and playing as the team that was constructed. The one other small thing that I like to change in my simulations is just changing the attribute effect from 5 on 10 up to 8 on 10, but I won't change anything else. All right, so let's hop into simulation now and start looking at how this tournament format looks in mode. So here it is, very simple. It's only a few games, like I said, so it's not much to navigate, but we can go over to edit lines right away and make sure that we're trying to make lines that are reflective of the real world teams. Again, these lines will change throughout the games, throughout the tournament, but according to what I'm seeing from like Elliot Friedman, Puckpedia, the sources that are out there, especially Canada and Sweden having already played, the lines that these 4 teams will be using are most likely looking something like this. So for Team Canada, Reinhart, McDavid, and Marner on the top line, 93, 97, 92. Look at all those X factors and high overalls. Second line, Stone, McKinnon, and Crosby, 91, 96, 94 for the overalls. Third line, Marchand, Point, and Jarvis, 89, 93, and 87. Braden Point as your third line center. Oh my goodness. And fourth line, Konechny, Chiarelli, and Hagel, 89, 87, and 88. On defense, Taves with Makar, of course, the Colorado boys, 89 and 95. Second pair, Morrissey and Parayko, 91 and 86. And third pair, Theodore and Sanheim. It would be Theodore and Doughty. And of course, now in the real world, Sanheim will actually be coming into the lineup with Theodore being injured. But because Doughty is not here for some reason, the game won't put him and won't allow me to put him. Then we'll have Theodore and Sanheim as the pair, sadly. Goaltending, Jordan Binnington, backed up by Aiden Hill, both 84 overalls, and Samuel Montembeault is also an 84 himself, but Binnington gets the start. Now, down in Finland, Lehkonen, Barkov, and Rantanen, 84, 95, 94 as their first line. Second line, Laine, Aho, and Hintz, 85, 91, and 88. Third pair, Luosterainen, Lundell, and Granlund with 82, 85, and 87 as their overalls. And the third line, Armia, Haula, and Teravainen, 80, 83, and 84. On defense, decimated sadly due to Miro Heiskanen and even Rasmus Ristolainen being injured. Mikkola and Lindell is the top pair, 82 and 86. Second pair, Valimaki and Mata, both 81s. And the third pair, Vakanainen and Jokiharju at 81 and 79. The good news is for goaltending, of course, it's 90 overall Jussi Saro starting, backed up by 86 overall Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen. And I'm also doing the power play lines, by the way. So, like, for example, Finland going with 5 forwards in their first unit power play. I'm reflecting that in the simulation. So for the forward lines and for both power play units, at least, I am doing the actual lineups that seem to be the published ones as of now at the beginning of the tournament. All right? So over in Sweden, Kempe, Pettersson, and Forsberg on the first line, 87, 90, and 89. Second line, Raymond, Eriksson, Ek, and Bratt, 89, 86, 91. Third line, Nylander, Zibanejad, Raquel, 91, 88, 85. And fourth line, Arvidsson, Lindholm, and Nyquist, all at 84 overall. Now, you might be saying, maybe Nylander, Zibanejad, Raquel, maybe that should be the first line or the second line. I don't know what. Maybe I don't like this. Well, I'm just going according to the lines that Sweden had for the first game of the tournament against Canada. So don't shoot the messenger. This is what we're rolling with for the simulation. On defense, Ekholm and Carlson on the top pair, 87, 88. Hedman, Brodin second, 93 and 88. And third pair, Dahlin and Forsling, 91 and 87. For goaltending, it is Philip Gustafsson actually as the starter at an 87 overall, backed up by 88 overall, Linus Ullmark. All right, and then over to the USA. If you thought the other teams had high overalls, check this one out. There's a reason why the game has them at 99 overall. Kyle Connor, Jack Eichel, Matthew Tkachuk, 92, 93, 93 on the first line. Second line, Jack Hughes, Austin Matthews, and Jake Gensel, 94, 95, and 90. Third line, Brady Tkachuk, JT Miller, and Matt Boldy, 89, 92, 88. And the fourth line, Larkin, Trocheck, and Brock Nelson, 89, 87, 85. Whew. Then on defense, with Quinn Hughes out, Noah Hannafin draws in. The top pair is Werenski and McAvoy, 89-91. Second pair, Slave and Fox, 89-92. And third pair, Hannafin and Faber, both at 87 overall. With the goaltending being the highest overall goalie in the tournament, Connor Hellebuyck at a 94, backed up by the second highest goalie in the tournament overall-wise, Jake Ottinger, at a 91 overall. So the U.S., I would say, are the definite favorites on paper in EA land, but as we all know, the game is not played on paper, especially in an EA simulation, so we'll find out what happens. Okay, starting out with game 1 of the tournament, Canada versus Sweden. Let's get the simulation started. In the real world, Canada wins 4-3 in overtime, but in this universe, let's see how the tournament starts out at the Bell Center in front of all the fans, Montreal faithful, Mario Lemieux out on the ice. Who else was out there? Daniel Alfredson, Teemu Selanne. Here we go. First period, and it's 1-0 Sweden after 20 as Erik Karlsson scores the first goal of the tournament, and Sweden outshoots Canada badly, 19-6, more than triple after 20. Oh my goodness. Second period, Canada comes back and it's a 2-2 tie after 40. Konechny and Chiarelli, 2 goals from the fourth line before Lucas Raymond on the power play ties it late in the second. Shots are now 29-18 for Sweden, but it's all tied at 2 after 40. Third period action now. Power play for Sweden to start the period, but Sidney Crosby scores as that power play expires, as it was carrying over from the last period. And Shea Theodore, the injured player, and Braden Point, the floodgates have opened. Sam Reinhart power play goal as Ullmark's now in for a pulled Philip Gustafsson. The floodgates open. The extra point is good. 7-2 Canada. 8-2 Sidney Crosby. What is happening? From 2-1 Sweden to 8-2 Canada. Wow, or was it from 1-0 Sweden, and then it was a 2-2 game, yes, to 8-2 Canada. What a win for the Canadians, being outshot 37-32. Jordan Binnington wakes up after the start of that game, ends with 35 saves and third star honors. Both Travis Konechny and Sidney Crosby scored 2 goals and an assist, and like in the real world, Sidney Crosby is the first star of the game, of the opening game of the tournament. Whoa, what a start for Canada, and Sweden will have to bounce back against Finland. Whoa, whoa, whoa. All right, next game of the tournament will be U.S. against Finland, opening game for both these teams as well. It's definitely a mismatch on paper overall-wise, like we said, 99 versus 92 overall team, but Finland is still a very strong team in its own, so we'll see if they can try and find a way to break through those small openings that the U.S. would have. Here we go. First period, and it's 1-0 Finland. There you go. 4 seconds left. Alex Barkov, the captain, scores just in the dying seconds of the period. But like Sweden, who had a 1-0 lead after 20, I don't know if they're going to be able to hang on to it. Second period, 2-1, goal apiece. Alex Barkov scores again, but now it's Brady Tkachuk scoring in the dying seconds of the period, as with 23 seconds left in the second, he gets the U.S. on the board. The Americans are outshooting the Finns 18-17, but it's 2-1 Finland after 40. Third period starts with a U.S. power play, which is killed off, and Patrick Laine, in front of his home fans in Montreal, makes it 3-1. The Finns are up by 2 in a surprising possible upset here in the first game that these two teams are playing in this tournament. 1 goal for the U.S. only. No, there's Adam Fox with the second for the Americans. They're down by 1 with under 5 to go, but Patrick Laine, with his second of the period, will put this one to bed, and the Finns, the fantastic Finns, upset the U.S. 4-2. The US outshoot Finland 29-28, but they lose 4-2 as Laine gets first star honors with 2 goals, Barkov 2 goals, and Jussi Saros makes 27 saves as the Finns have a big victory in that first game of the tournament, putting Canada and Finland on top through 1 game of the tournament. 2 more games to go. Already that's a third of the tournament right there. So now we'll go to, when's the next game? Is it the 14th or the 15th? All teams play on the 15th? Yes. So we'll save Canada-US. We'll go see Sweden and Finland. Big European matchup here. Sweden had that big 8-2 shellacking in Game 1, and the Finns are coming off of a surprise victory. So the Swedes really need to win this one, essentially, if they want to have a chance of making it to the final. All right, first period, the Swedes do begin the game quickly, answering from carrying over from that 8-2 loss. Elias Pettersson scores 36 seconds in, then Zibanejad scores 5 minutes and 1 second in. Granlund gets 1 for the Finns, then Elias Lindholm shorthanded keeps Sweden up by 2 headed into the second period. Second period, 1 goal, it's Jonas Brodin making it 4-1 Sweden. The Swedes are out shooting the Finns 23-18 through 40 minutes, but Sebastian Aho gets Finland back within 2 now with 15 minutes to go. No, Victor Arvidsson re-extends that lead to 3. Finland power play, extended opportunity, and it's Mikko Rantanen with a power play goal, back to a 2-goal game, but with under 10 to go. Is that enough time for Finland? It definitely could be, but they have to get on their horse, and there's Sebastian Aho with his second of the period. It's a 1-goal game with under 5 to go, but Gustav Forsling gets Sweden back up by 2, and after they lose 8-2, they now win 6-4, scoring a lot of goals of their own, outshooting Finland 34-32, and coming away with a 6-4 victory. Aho scores twice, Rantanen a goal and an assist, and Zibanejad a goal and an assist for Sweden. Whoo, boy, as each team has now won a game except for the US, and they'll have a chance to do so against Canada. Here we go in a massive matchup Saturday night at the Bell Center. Doesn't get crazier than this. Forget all the geopolitics of it all. This is just hockey at its core. Let's do it. Canada versus USA, Saturday night in Montreal. Whoo, baby. The US really needs to win this one. First period, Canada opens it up early. Sidney Crosby 51 seconds in before Mark Stone gets another shortly after. Slavin scores the lone goal for the US later in the period. 2-1 for Canada after 20 shots, tied at 10. Second period now, 4-2. The Canadians score twice. Jarvis and McKinnon make it 4-1 Canada before Dylan Larkin scores late, cutting the lead to 2. The 2-goal lead is the worst in hockey, but Canada is leading in the shots and the score, 22-20 in the shots for the Canadians. Now make it a 5-2 game as Connor McDavid extends Canada's lead. Will the U.S. have a chance to do something? Yes, Austin Matthews' power play goal. Come on. The offense in the U.S. has to be doing more than this. Down by 2 with now under 10 to go. The Americans on the brink of losing both games to open the tournament, and I don't know if they can make it through with just a win in their last one. 2 minutes to go, and Sam Reinhart will put it to bed as Hellebuck allows 6 goals. Crosby gets the extra point with the empty net goal, and Canada wins 7-3 despite being outshot 36-31. Wow, 8 goals against Sweden and 7 goals against Canada. 2 goals and an assist, back-to-back first-star honors for Sidney Crosby, a goal and 2 assists for McKinnon, a goal and assist for Stone. That second line getting all 3 stars, and you would think that Canada just booked their ticket to the final. You would have to think. As the U.S., I don't think there's a way that they can make it out. I don't think, I believe that eliminates them. So Finland, if Finland loses against Canada, gets 0 points, and the U.S. beats Sweden, and then according to a tiebreaker, so the U.S. still has life. It's not over yet, so I'll wait for U.S.-Sweden. Let's go to Canada-Finland. If Finland beats Canada, they will then play Canada again in the final, unless Sweden also wins and has the tiebreaker. Well, there's a lot of different scenarios going on here, but let's do it. Canada versus Finland. As Finland, they beat the US 4-2. They lost against Sweden 6-4. But Canada, coming off of 8-2 and 7-3 victories, now at TD Garden in Boston for the final game of the round robin for Canada and Finland. First period, 1-1 game. Shea Theodore and Sebastian Aho in the first. Second period, 3-3, 2 goals apiece. Sam Reinhart and Brad Marchand score power play goals to put Canada up 3-1. But then Granlund and Barkov score back-to-back as well to now tie this game at 3. The Finns are outshooting the Canadians 29-17. And Granlund scores his second early in the third before Connor McDavid ties it right back up like 35-40 seconds later. 4-4 game, power play Finland, and there's a power play goal from Mikko Rantanen, and it's a back and forth game with 12 minutes to go. Shots are 38-24 now. Sidney Crosby ties it at 5, 10 goals in 50 minutes. Final 5 minutes to go now. Next goal might be the winner. Finland needs it to book their ticket to the final. Will we see overtime? Yes, we will. So the Finns now getting at least 1 point have guaranteed that they or Sweden will advance. Correct? Because even if US wins, Finland would advance. Yeah, so it will either be Canada versus Finland or Sweden in the final. But let's see what happens here in overtime. The Finns outshot the Canadians 41-31 through regulation. Overtime now. I don't know why it's only 5 minutes. It should be... oh, sorry, no, because it's not the final. Sorry, the final is going to be 5-on-5 overtime. But yes, this is 3-on-3 overtime. Was it not a 10-minute period, though? Am I mistaken? Anyways, shootout, and Canada wins 6-5. So the Finns will come away with 1 point. Laine scores, Marchand scores, and then McKinnon gets the winner. Wow, what a thriller. Granlund 2 goals, Reinhart a goal and an assist, and Crosby still a star in this one, a goal and an assist. First, and third stars for Sidney Crosby. So Canada absolutely on to the final with 8 points, 2-0-1. The overtime win, so 2-0-1-0. As Finland is possibly in. Sweden, if you win, you're in. So win and you're in for Sweden. US cannot make it with Finland now having 4 points. So Sweden has to win or else it'll be Canada and Finland in the final. US versus Sweden in the final game of the round robin. First period, 1-0 for the Swedes. William Nylander scores in the power play, and Sweden tripling the shots 18-6 through 20. What is going on with the Americans? The best team on paper. That's how it goes in EA NHL. Second period, 1-1 as Slavin ties the game. Where's like the 3 goals a game from Matthews and Connor and Eichel and Hughes? Come on now. Shot 24-20 for the Swedes through 40. 1-1 game. Power play Sweden to start the period. Extended opportunity killed off by the Americans as they just want to have some pride here. They're playing for pride. Power play Sweden killed off again. Being outshot 32-21. The Americans are hanging on. Hellebuck making saves, standing on his head with 34 saves. Slavin with a shorthanded goal. Is he leading the team in goal scoring? Will that be enough for the Americans in the final minute? And yes, it will be as they win their first and only game of the tournament, being outshot 39-25. But Connor Hellebuck stands on his head to make 38 saves. Slavin scores twice as that will end the tournament as the US's leading goal scorer, I believe. Philip Gustafsson makes 23 saves for third star honors, but Sweden and US both eliminated as the final will be played between Canada and Finland. Oh boy, here we go. Advancing to the final at TD Garden on February the 20th, Canada went 2-0-1-0, Finland 1-1-0-1. So Canada, the only team with 2 wins through the 3-game round robin. Sidney Crosby, 5 goals and 8 points through 3 games. We'll check out all the points at the end of the tournament. But let's get going for the final of the 4 Nations face-off, the 2025 round robin. Let's do it. First period, 3-0 Canada early. Woo! Devon Toews, Brad Marchand, and Shea Theodore with a short-handed goal. 3-0 Canada, shots 11-7 after 20. Second period, 4-2. The Finns coming back. A lot of people underestimated the Finns at the beginning of this tournament, but they're in the final, and they are within 2. Nathan McKinnon made it 4-0 before Laine and Vaakanainen got the Finns back in it. Vaakanainen scoring with 48 seconds left in the second period. Shots 24-20 for the Canadians, and they lead by 2 here in the third. One more might put it to bed, but Mikko Rantanen makes it a 1-goal game. 4-3 Canada, and the Finns are back. Luosterainen, 4-4. Finland power play killed off by the Canadians. Sam Reinhart put Canada back up 5-4. From up 4-0 to squandering the lead, tied at 4. Canada now leads by 1. Patrick Laine ties it at 5. What a thriller, ladies and gentlemen. 3 minutes to go. Do we have a winner with under 90 seconds left? We're off to overtime. Shots end 37-34 for the Finns. Canada was up 4-0. The Finns march back to tied at 4. Reinhardt puts Canada back ahead, but then Patrick Laine ties it back with 5.5 minutes to go. From 4-0 Canada to a 5-5 overtime game. Let's hop in this one. It's going to be CPU versus CPU. We'll have the jerseys look like that. And let's hop in to see what this game gives us for a result. At TD Garden, next player to score will win his country the 2025 Four Nations face-off. Here we go. Rantanen with space. Lehkonen. Ooh, big blocker save there from Binnington. That's the first big chance of this overtime period. And speaking of this overtime period, 20 minutes of 5-on-5, just like in the NHL postseason. McDavid wins it back to Makar. Now here's Reinhart. Sam Reinhart over to McDavid. They look so slow. It's incredible. Marner. Pass has gone by. Makar to the point. Toews through traffic, and Saros will hang on. And you know what? I just realized we're not Canada or Finland, so may as well go to broadcast or true broadcast for how we're going to be watching this game visually. So McDavid with chance in front on the side of the net, loses that. Marner just see, like Marner going for a change, like could go get the puck in the corner easily, no problem. Hold on, there's a big hit. McDavid to Stone, 2-on-1 chance. Mark Stone on net. Saros easy save as Stone just slides it to him, and he'll hang on for the faceoff. Always hard to watch the AI in-game in NHL 25 especially, but we had to go in for this final game of the Four Nations Face-Off tournament. Now here's McKinnon, and we're so zoomed out, but now here's McCarr, the Colorado boys! McKinnon on his stick! Oh, big save, scores! Sam Reinhart has won it for Canada! The Colorado boys on a 2-on-1, McCarr and McKinnon in tight, and then Reinhart comes in to clean it up as Canada has won the 2025 Four Nations Face-Off. Finland, what a march back from down 4-0 to tie it, ending up 5-5 in overtime. Oh, don't hang your heads, gentlemen. Really well done from Finland. Thought to be the 4th best team at this tournament. They pushed Canada to overtime. I'm surprised the US didn't do any better. As a Canadian, hey, I'm happy, but I know there's a lot of Finnish fans out there watching the channel. Finland, I'm wishing you all the best in this tournament. What a thriller for the final game of the tournament as well. A great thriller for the final. So this is just it. They just keep showing me the same celebrations in Four Nations Champions. Okay, here's the handshakes. McDavid with who there's Laine, Binnington. There's Sidney Crosby shaking hands with Rupe Hintz. I don't think there's any trophy here. Mata. Just some nice handshakes there. Aho. A few little helmet taps. Devontae's. Yeah, so looks like it's an extended handshake line and no trophy. All right, there you go. The shots end 39-38 for Finland in this one, but Canada comes away with the 6-5 victory. One more time just to see this one. I prefer this angle, honestly. So the play started all the way back here. Ryan's shot hit off of Crosby's skate. Crosby gets it up to McKinnon. Finland went for a change. Across to McCarr, 2-on-1. Got it. Lots of space for McKinnon. Did he get a shot off? Yes, he did. Bumped in the back. And then the rebound, no one wants it. As Valmaki, yeah. And then, Reinhart went to his forehand. Squeezed it by. Took the hit. There you go. Cleaning up what was left there by McKinnon on his rebound. There you go. Canada wins 6-5 to win the Four Nations face-off. There was only 3 or 4 games, but we can just quickly look at any of the team stats that stand out. So Canada scored a ton of goals, 26 goals in 4 games, 6.5 goals for per game. The U.S., with all that firepower, scores only 7 goals in 3 games, 2.33 goals for. Sweden allowed the most. Finland allowed the most at 4.75 against, but they made it far. They scored a lot of goals themselves to balance that out. Power play, 50% power play for Canada, only 3 for 6. All right. Sweden was 2 for 15. U.S. only had 3 chances and went 1 for 3. Penalty kill, 90% PK for the U.S., allowing only 1 power play goal against on 10 opportunities. All right, there you go. And for the player stats now, let's go through each team, starting with the champions, Canada. Sidney Crosby, 5 goals and 10 points from Sid the Kid. Oh, man, 10 points in 4 games, 9 from McKinnon, 8 from Stone, 6 from Reinhart, 5 from McDavid, Marchand, Point, and Jarvis. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 point-per-game plus players for Canada. Whew. Theodore injured, but in this universe, 3 goals in 4 games. Konechny 3, McCarr 3, Marner, Sanheim with 3, Chiarelli, Morrissey, Hagel with 2, Taves with 1, Parayko the only player with no points on Team Canada. As Jordan Binnington went 4-0, 902 save percentage, and 3.65 goals against average. I think that's about what you could expect from Jordan Binnington. 4 wins, but numbers looking like that makes sense. I think that is reflective enough. Moving on to Finland now, the other finalists. 8 points from Mikko Rantanen in those 4 games. Barkov, Aho with 6, Hintz with 5, Laine, Granlund, Luostarinen, Lundell all with 4. So even Finland, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 8 point per game plus players in Finland as well. Wow. Vakanainen with 2, Lehkonen 2, Valmaki 2, and then no points from Lindell, Teravainen, Haula, Mikkola, Mata, Jokiharju, and Armia. Some tough plus minuses in the bottom 6, especially on the 4th line. Goaltending, Saros went 1-1-2 with an 848 save percentage, and a 5.16 goals against average. Luukkonen came in relief once, faced 25 shots, and allowed 2 goals. Yeah, Saros did not do super well. They could have won it. They could have won it in the final. Sweden now, they only played 3 games. Nylander, Raymond, Zibanejad, all 3 points in 3 games. No one scored more than 1 goal on Sweden. Arvidsson, Lindholm, Forsberg with 2 points. Pettersson, Carlson, Brodin, Ekholm, Forsling, Kempe, Eriksson Ek, Raquel, Nyquist, all with 1 point. 0 points from Hedman, Dahlin, Bratt. Oof. Yeah, and plus minuses didn't look great either. For the goaltending, Philip Gustafsson went 1-2 with an 862 save percentage and 4.01 goals against average. When he was pulled for Linus Ullmark to come in, Ullmark allowed 3 goals on 9 shots, 666 save percentage. Yeah, 12.74 goals against average. Ugly stuff. Yeah, not a lot of time played. And for the U.S., the leading goal scorer and point scorer, Slavin somehow with 3 goals and 4 points. Crazy. As no one else even scores 2 goals, but Slavin scores 3. Fox also point per game plus. So the only point per game plus players were the 2 defensemen here, Fox and Slavin. As Larkin, Kachuk, Brady Kachuk, Jack Hughes, and JT Miller all had 2 points in 3 games. Matthews, Gensel, Boldy, all with 1 point. And look how many players had 0 points. Eichel, -4. Matthew Kachuk, -3. Kyle Connor, all in the top line, -3s and -4s. McAvoy, Werenski, Trocheck, Hannafin, Faber, Nelson, all with 0 points. And the goaltending, Connor Hellebuyck at a 94 overall goes 1-2 with an 886 save percentage and 3.72 goals against average. And you know what? We can even look at the scoring of the entire tournament. It was all Canada and Finland, essentially. If you look at the entire league, yes. Most points in the tournament goes to Sidney Crosby with 10 in 4. McKinnon with 9 was second. Most goals in the tournament, 5 from Crosby and Reinhart, 4 from Laine, then a bunch of players who had 3. Most assists, 7 from McKinnon and Stone. Most points we saw. Best plus minus, Stone and McKinnon plus 10. -5 from Teravainen. Most penalty minutes, anybody here? 10 penalty minutes from Devon Tays. And then who played the most time? Maybe 25:08 of ice time for Erik Karlsson, leading in ice time. Any fights? Can we see this? Any fights in the tournament? I doubt it. Yeah, no fights. All right. Then for goaltenders, yeah, we can see Binnington winning 4 games. No other goalie won 2 games even. But the save percentages, yeah, they were not pretty. If we look at removing just guys who came in relief like Luukkonen and Ullmark, Binnington, he did in the end have the best save percentage and the best goals against average. And there you go, Jordan Binnington. All right, so there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, the NHL 25 simulation of the 2025 Four Nations Face-Off. What do you think about this sim as Canada wins it against Finland in the final? Leave a like if you enjoyed, and of course, subscribe if you haven't already for all of our simulations, franchise modes, career sims, live stream series on NHL, MLB, breaking news and analysis in the real world of hockey, leading up now to the NHL trade deadline. You won't want to miss out on those notifications. Hit the bell to be notified when those trades happen. We'll be breaking it all down. There's a lot happening here on the channel. If you like hockey, if you like NHL 25, franchise mode, all that great stuff, this is the channel for you as we approach 10,000 subscribers. I encourage you, check out the channel if you like it, subscribe, because we would be that much greater of a community with you as a part of it. Speaking of our community, we have the Discord server linked in the description as well. We'd love to have you there. We're over 700 members talking hockey all the time. But I'll leave you off there. Thanks so much for watching. Leave your thoughts on the sim in the comments down below, and I'm looking forward to seeing you once again in the next one.